All right, this is the Wednesday homework check for the 4th grade that's working on quarter 3. And we're going to do some rounding to start off with. First, to the nearest 100. Circle the digit to the right. We get to copy everything except when we get to the underlined digit, and then we stop because it might change. But 1 is not high enough to round it up. So our choices are go up or stay the same. We're just going to stay the same. This circle reminds me to turn everything else into zeros. So that's what it is. 4,383,900. Okay, now it's telling us to round to the nearest 1,000. So here's the digit that's in the thousands place again. We can copy down everything up into that underlined digit, and then we stop. Circle the 1 to the right. The 9 tells us to make the 3 go up or stay the same. Go up to a 4. Everything else becomes zeros. So 4,384,000 for that one. And finally, to the nearest 10,000. 8 is in the 10,000s place. So let's copy down everything up to that point. Just 2 digits. The 3 is not high enough to round up the 8, so it's going to stay the same. But everything else from that point on becomes zeros. So 4,380,000. Find the difference. 0 minus 5, we can't do it. So let's borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 9, we need to borrow. 17 minus 9 is 8. 1 minus 8, we need to borrow, but the next digit can't help us, see? So we're going to keep going. And that helps this one become a 10. And we kind of start again and say our 1 still needs help. This time when we go over, 10 becomes a 9, and the 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 8, 3. Now we've got 9 minus 3 is 6, and 2 minus 0 is 2. 26,385. All right. Dividend divided by the divisor equals the quotient. And I knew I was making groups of 4, and I knew if I just left the 2 by itself, that would not give me a group of 4. So I've put it together with the next digit and the way I set up my boxes. So groups of 4 into 25, that would be 6, because 6 times 4 is 24. Difference of 1, let's bring it up. Okay, 4 into 19, 4 times, because 4 times 4 is 16. That's a difference of 3. It comes up. And groups of 4 out of 33 would be 8, because 8 times 4 is 32. Difference of 1, so this is our remainder. So what's on top becomes our answer, and don't forget your remainder. So final answer, 648, with a remainder of 1. Also note how I only put 1 digit on top of each of these boxes that I made. Just 1. That's all you're allowed, okay? Each classroom has 6 rows of 5 desks. How many desks are there in 45 classrooms? So this is for 1 classroom. So that'd be 6 times 5 for 1 classroom, but then we want to know times 45 classrooms. So this is not so bad. 6 times 5 is 30 times 45. Now this one has a 0, so we're going to rewrite this over here and let that 0 hang off. And then it's easy peasy. Drop down the 0. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So final answer, 1,350 desks. Because when we look back at the question, how many desks? Okay, in the next one, we get to create a pattern and apply the rule A times 7. So this top row represents what our A will stand for. And in the first one, so this is like the input, okay? And this is what's going to come out after we apply the rule. This is the output. So 1 times 7 is 7. For 2, 2 times 7, that'd be 14. 3 times 7, 21. 4 times 7, 28. But look, 10 times 7, 70. Compare the fractions using greater than, less than, or equal to. We're going to do stacked rectangles again. So I'm going to do my first set right here. We'll make 8/12 be on top and 4/7 on the bottom. So I know 12 is an even number. Now I have to have 6 on each side. So if I do thirds on each side and then split all of these in half, then I've got 12. I get to color in 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would get me to here. And then sevenths, I know I'm going to need an odd man in the middle and 3 on each side. And I get to color in 4 of them. And even though it's close, it's still clear to see that 8/12 is greater than 4/7. Right now, let's do another stacked rectangle. And on the top, we'll do 2/3, and on the bottom, I'll do 4/5. So thirds for the top, just kind of eyeballing it because it's odd, and I get to color in 2 of them. Now 4/5 on the bottom, it's an odd, so I know I need 1 in the middle. That's pretty close, and I get to color in 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it's plain to see that the 2/3 on top is a bit smaller, so 2/3 is less than 4/5. Okay, moving right along to adding and subtracting our mixed numbers. We know we start with the fractions part first. 4/5 plus 3/5 is 7/5. And 3 wholes and 2 wholes is 5 wholes. But look, we've got an improper fraction. We're going to pull 5/5 out and make another whole. So we'll have 6 wholes. And if I take 5/5 away from 7/5, I have 2/5 left over. So final answer there, 6 and 2/5. Now subtraction, 2/5 minus 3/5. That's like saying 2 pieces minus 3 pieces. You can't do it. So we're going to borrow a whole. Now we have 3 wholes. Now a whole in fifths would be 5/5, and we're going to add it to our 2/5. That gives us 7/5. Now 7/5 minus 3/5 is 4/5, and 3 wholes minus 2 wholes is 1 whole. And this is our final answer here, 1 and 4/5. Okay, you guys know when you have just a whole number, that means you put it over 1, and you still multiply across. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3, except this is improper, okay? So we're going to pull out a whole. That would be 3/3. So we'd have 1 whole with 1/3 left over. All right? Now 6 times 1/5, 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5, but this is improper. So we're going to pull 5/5 out and make it a whole and have 1/5 left over, 1 and 1/5. All right. Put this over 1, multiply across. 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 7 is 7. Now we're going to pull out a whole. That would be 7/7, and that would leave us with 5/7 left over. Right, the bottom one. 3 times 2/3. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. But look at this. How many 3/3 could we pull out? We could pull out 2 of them, couldn't we? Because this actually means 6 divided by 3 equals blank, and we know that's 2. So the answer is 2 wholes. That's it for today.